Welcome to today's explainer. Now, for this one, I really want you to just imagine we're all sitting around a flickering campfire. The night air is cold, the shadows are stretching out just a little bit too long, and we're diving into a seriously chilling first person account from Eden Hill School. We're going to track how a completely normal evening of studying spiraled into absolute, unrelenting terror and eventually uncover a deeply tragic piece of local lore. So get comfortable and let's unravel the legend of Eden Hill. So, have you ever stayed at school way too late, or, maybe the office? It's a super relatable setup, right? You get that eerie, unsettling feeling of being completely alone in a huge building that is normally just buzzing with life and noise. Well, for the narrator of our story, final exams were coming up fast. The school actually made a special exception and kept the library open all the way until midnight just to let the kids cram. And since our narrator lived close by, they figured, hey, the quiet library is way better than studying at home. It's a totally logical decision. But as we're going to see, this everyday scenario actually sets the perfect stage for the kind of isolation that makes this encounter so absolutely terrifying. The way time slips away here is absolutely key to understanding that mounting sense of dread. So at 6 p.m., our student gets there. Sun's probably setting, everything is totally normal. Usually they'd pack it up and head home around 8 p.m. And even at 8, there are still a few kids hanging around, right? You feel that sense of safety in numbers. But our student gets completely laser-focused on their exam prep and completely loses track of time. By 10 p.m., they suddenly realize they are entirely alone. Like absolute deafening silence in this massive library. They figure, well, I've only got about 10, maybe 15 minutes of work left. I'll just push through and finish up. And then the silence breaks. Someone was limping. Just imagine being completely zoned into your textbook, wrapped up in that heavy, late-night quiet, and suddenly, out of nowhere, you hear the unmistakable sound of uneven, dragging footsteps. Someone or something is limping just outside the library doors. Obviously, the narrator is instantly freaked out, frantically packs up their books, and just bolts out of the library. That single sound completely shatters any illusion of safety and plunges us right into the nightmare. Now, right outside that library is this incredibly long corridor that leads to the school's exit on the right. As the student is hurrying down this hall, they look up and see a woman standing at the very far end. Even from a distance, her posture is just wrong. She's hunched over, her hair is completely obscuring her face, and her silhouette is just deeply unnerving. The student gets this primal, gut-level warning that's so intense, they actually call out into the empty hall, "Who's there?" And guys, the second those words echo down the corridor, the woman vanishes, literally gone in a matter of seconds. The student breathes this massive sigh of relief, figures they're just seeing things because they're tired, and pushes through the front doors out into the night. Okay, so under normal circumstances, the street leading from the school to the student's house is super busy. Even late at night, there are always people walking around. But on this specific night, it was strangely and completely empty. I mean, a total ghost town, not a single soul in sight. Now, our narrator is exhausted, they're hungry, and their legs feel like lead, so they're barely even processing how unnatural this emptiness is. Fueled by that lingering adrenaline from the corridor, they just keep their head down, staring right at the pavement, trying to get home as fast as humanly possible. But the isolation just keeps building until a brand new horror pops up, a shadow on the ground stretching out toward the student. They're so close to home at this point. They still have their head down, just kind of nervously checking to make sure no one is around. But out of nowhere, this weird shadow stretches across the pavement right toward their feet. When the student snaps their head up, they see a woman walking just ahead of them, but there is something deeply, horribly wrong with the way she's moving. She looks like she's struggling severely to walk. In fact, she is moving so incredibly slowly that our completely exhausted narrator catches up to her in no time at all. And as the student gets dangerously close, the details become just impossible to ignore. She's wearing these tattered, filthy clothes. Her hands and feet are unnaturally twisted, making her movements super jerky and agonizing to watch. Her hair is just a messy, unkept tangle. The sheer wrongness of how she looks literally forces the student to stop dead in their tracks. It's like their gut is just screaming at them, do not take another step, and it totally robs them of the courage to just walk past this twisted figure and get home. So, this brings us to the absolute climax of the confrontation. First, the student is just frozen in shock. Their brain is completely numb to whatever strange demand this woman is silently implying. Driven by pure, primal fear, the student just raises a shaking hand and points far, far away, desperately trying to distract her. And shockingly, it works. She complies. She starts limping in the direction the student pointed, moving so far away she eventually disappears from sight. But that feeling of dread, it doesn't go away. Terrified that she might just suddenly pop up right in front of them again, the student breaks into a dead sprint in pure, unadulterated terror, just desperate to find a car, a person, literally anyone who can help. But you don't escape a story like this that easily. Just as the student is sprinting for their life, this horrific sound just tears through the night. The woman screams from somewhere far away in the pitch-black darkness, "She is here." It's this agonizing, bone-chilling declaration. And the sheer force of this moment, combined with the sheer exhaustion and terror, it completely overwhelms our narrator. Right there on the street, everything goes black. They just pass out cold. Thankfully, the student eventually wakes up safely at home. Turns out they were found passed out on the sidewalk by a neighbor who brought them inside. But this neighbor doesn't just offer a safe couch to crash on. He actually offers the chilling context behind the nightmare. He drops a piece of local lore that pivots this entire explainer from a story of pure terror into one of profound tragedy. You see, that twisted figure wasn't just some random monster. Her name was Agatha. She was a 32-year-old mother from back in 1998, and her spirit is forever tied to the tragic haunting of Eden Hills School. Understanding exactly why Agatha is still there, wandering around in such a mangled state, is honestly heartbreaking. Back in 1998, Agatha had a 10-year-old daughter who went to Eden Hill. But during playtime with her friends, this horrific, fatal accident occurred, and the young girl died. Agatha simply couldn't bear the reality of losing her child. Her grief was so absolute, so heavy, that it literally tethered her to the physical world. In the aftermath, Agatha's ghost has been seen roaming Eden Hill School and the surrounding streets. Her tattered clothes, those twisted limbs, they're basically the physical manifestation of a mother's unending, agonizing grief. She's still wandering in the dark, calling out, relentlessly searching, just hoping to be reunited with her lost little girl. Which leaves us with a rather unsettling thought. You know, it's so easy to brush off ghost stories when the sun is shining. But when you're walking home late at night and the streets are uncharacteristically empty, well, who might be wandering your local streets? What local tragedies might be etched into the very pavement you walk on every single day? The legend of Eden Hill shows us that sometimes the things that go bump in the night aren't just trying to scare us. Sometimes they're just desperately searching for something they've lost. Definitely something to keep in mind the next time you find yourself all alone in the dark. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and seriously, stay safe out there.